Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Today is October 2nd. It's a Friday. It's 2020. Oh my goodness, this intro is a hot mess. I'm leaving it. I'm going with it. Thank you for joining me today. So how are you doing? Obviously, I'm feeling discombobulated. I'm not sure why, but I'm feeling it a little bit. Kids are at school. I am in my in-between time, so let's get an episode recorded. Be so proud. I'm back after only a week instead of 87 weeks. I think that may have happened once. 87 weeks. I did take that long break. Anyway, what is going on? So the ornament swap signups are still open for 2 more weeks, I think. Yeah, about just under 2 weeks. And I haven't checked this week to see if anybody else signed up, but if you're interested in the ornament swap, I will put a little card up here. You can click to to listen to what the handmade ornament swap is all about. And please join in. It was a lot of fun last year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun this year. Also, it's October, which means it's two things. It is Socktober and Vlogtober. I am doing Vlogtober. You will have, if you're subscribed, you will have seen that pop up in the feed already. If you don't watch vlogs, that's cool, but I have a lot of fun doing them a few times a year, so I'm excited about Vlogtober. Especially since I don't know what, Halloween and stuff is going to look like at all this year. It might just be daily vlogs. It's fine. I'm doing it anyway. So I feel like this week is going to be pretty short. I'm looking at my stack of things. I forgot to bring my books. It's okay. I'll put in pictures. Yeah, it's been a busy life week, not so busy crafting week. I did finish that shawl that I was working on last week, Helios shawl. It is modified because I was using the thicker yarn as the main color and then thinner yarn as the contrast color. I omitted a full repeat of the pattern for the body section and then the last 2 rows of the edging section. I also used a bigger hook than was called for in the pattern. The pattern calls for, I think it's a 4.75. Whatever that hook size between F and G is, and I used a size H. And it is currently at the yarn shop that I work at. I started blocking it when I was there on Wednesday, and if nobody else blocked it, I will finish blocking it tomorrow. Steam blocking, because we have a steamer at the shop, and the blocking space is not quite big enough for the full shawl to be spread out. I could do half at a time. I have 2 other things that I finished in the past week. These are the dishcloths from the leftover from G's Chromebook cover. So yeah, just not super exciting, but they are done. And I think the green is completely used up. These are both completely used up, I think. No. Yes, no? No, this one, I think I still have a little bit more that I'm going to start a scrappy dishcloth out of. Does it matter? No. So yeah, 2 dishcloths. And then I have a bunch of new things started, but I think I will show you a previous work in progress. This is the sockhead hat, which is much longer than when I showed it to you last time. I think I was maybe here 2 weeks ago or 2 episodes ago. I've just been working away on it a little bit. It's good walking knitting, so walking to and from work. It takes about a half hour if I'm knitting. Less time if I'm not, because then I'm not focusing on, knitting, even though I don't have to focus that hard on knitting. The yarn that I'm using is from 716 Knit. It is self-striping. It has a controversial name, which I'm going to put on the screen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the name is gone. And I'm making a sock head hat, which I think is by Kelly McClure, but I might be making that up. I'm probably not going to look it up. I am just, yeah, I'm knitting it on US size 1. I'm past the ribbing. I'm like, I think you'll be able to see better on the inside. Yeah, with the reverse stockinette. So I'm like 3 or 4 rounds past the ribbing. So now it's even more mindless, which is fine for walking. And this will be a Christmas present, so I have plenty of time to work on it or not work on it. Oh, on the administrative sides of things, I forgot. Back to Vlogtober. So even if you don't watch Vlogtober, October 1st, I have some questions about pattern hosting, my patterns. So even if you don't usually watch Vlogtober or vlogs in general, maybe give that one a watch and then let me know what you think about the option that I lay out. So other works in progress. Let's go with this one. This is probably the work in progress I'm most excited about right now. This is a hexagon. This hexagon will be a sock. I'm so excited. I believe that the pattern is called Hyperbolic Hexagon. It's by H. Lurie. I have had this pattern in my queue for a very, very long time, and I've had this yarn in my stash for a long, long time. The yarn is from Gourmet Stash, who is no longer dying. It is the Broken Ornaments colorway. My friend Josh gave it to me for Christmas one year. I love it, and I've been hoarding my yarns. So this will be redundant if you've watched Vlogtober, but I decided to make myself 4 pairs of socks between now and Christmas because I am hoarding yarn for myself and I don't make things for myself. I have probably probably more like 30 skeins of yarn that are just set aside for me, almost all fingering weight. I have, I think maybe 2 DK and a worsted. They're all set aside for me to make things for myself, but I don't make things for myself, so they're just sitting there not being used. So I'm making myself this sock and a few more pairs of socks with Socktober being like the motivation to actually work on them. But look at how cool this one is. I'm super excited. I'm super, super excited about these. Longtime viewers will know that I really enjoy things that are not constructed in an expected manner. So having a sock that starts off as a hexagon is really exciting. And this goes on the ankle, like this pinpoint starting thing. That goes on the front of your ankle. So I'm pretty excited about these. They're going to be really cool, really fun. I am knitting them on a US 1, which is atypical. I usually knit my socks on a US size 0, which is 2.0 millimeters instead of 2.25 millimeters. But this base that the sock is a Cordale base. It's a little bit thicker, and I didn't want obviously you want your socks dense, but I don't want my socks to be bulletproof. So decided I would, use a size 1 instead of a size 0. And it seems to be working okay. It's about the density that I like my socks. So hopefully that'll work out with the pattern and sizing because it only comes in one size. But I'll figure it out. I will make it work. I've not read through the whole pattern, so I don't know what's coming next because I'm not that person. I don't read through the whole pattern before I start things. I just go ahead with it. It's fine. I also have another sock started. Not very exciting because I did not do a lot of work. think I'm about halfway through the cuff. So when this grows up, this will be My Vampire Boyfriend by Rachel Atherley. I'll correct myself on the bottom of the screen if I'm wrong. It is a free pattern on Knitty, and I am super excited to make it. It's been in my queue on Ravelry for a really long time. Also, sidebar, let's talk about Ravelry for a second. So the whole reason why I have that piece on Vlogtober is because Ravelry is doing away with Classic View in spring, which means it's going to be completely inaccessible to me. So I should have been figuring out a place to host my patterns a long time ago, but I didn't. So now I'm trying to figure that out. So I just won't be linking things through Ravelry anymore in the show notes because I don't want to inadvertently cause someone harm for going to the site, because I know it adversely affects me, and I don't want it to adversely affect people. If it doesn't hurt people, then I mean, I'll mention if I got the pattern from Ravelry, which a lot of the things that I'm knitting, I mean everything that I'm knitting right now is available through Ravelry, so I'll say that, but I'm just not going to link it. But I will link this pattern because it's from Knitty, which does not give me problems and hopefully doesn't give anybody problems. I think it was, no, I don't even remember when it was from. This yarn is from another dyer who's no longer dyeing, because a lot of my stash for me has been there for a few years. So this is Present Locator by Gnome Acres, and it's got these fun tweed flecks in it. So these are going to be really, really fun socks. I'm super excited. And I'm making a lot of socks for myself out of festive yarn. Well, all of my socks are out of like festive yarn because I'm going to be participating in the festive sock along that Amy Florence is hosting. All right, the other two things that I am working on actively are shop samples. So the first is a little owl. It's to the yarn bowl stage of life. It is kind of based on the design of G's Great Owl, but the numbers are totally different because for the size that I wanted for the shop sample, it was coming out really tiny. So this will be another design that will go up on Ravelry, and I'll try to figure out where else to host. Yeah, just a little cute little owl. The yarn that I'm using is Barocco Modern Cotton, which is a cotton rayon blend, I think. I'm using a size D hook. Just, yeah, I'll have a picture next week because this will be finished by the next time I record. And I'm going to work twice before I record again, so that will just be here. And then I am making the Aura pullover by Heidi May. Making size tiny. I think it's size 2. Goes all the way from whatever the size tiny is, which I think is a size 2, up to adult extra large. I'm using Misty Alpaca yarn for this, so it's really, really soft. I would make myself a sweater out of Misty Alpaca. I wouldn't actually make a baby a sweater out of this because it's hand wash only, but I would make one for myself because I don't mind hand washing my sweaters, and it's super, super soft. So yeah, this will likely also be a picture next week because it works up really fast. It's on a size, it's a chunky yarn. It's on a size N, which is 10 millimeter hook. So I just started it up last night. Did a few rounds, got it established, got past the button holes. So now it's just crochet and pattern until I reach a certain length and then do a neck transition and then some more working straight. So it won't even take that long to finish. My dog needed in, so I went and I grabbed the book that I read this week. When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. If her name sounds familiar coming from my mouth, it is because, well, first I talked about her last week. I talked about how I was going to read this book last week. That was a poor sentence, but hopefully you understood. But I've also read a lot of her romance books, and I really, really enjoyed those. I enjoyed this thriller less. Maybe because thrillers are not a genre I read a lot, or maybe because when I do read thrillers, they're usually like supernatural sorts of thrillers. But I don't know. I felt like things were being set up or like information was given that was then not utilized in the story. And the characters were great, but the story, I don't know, it felt disconnected sometimes, which is not something that I expect from Alyssa Cole. So, I don't know. But maybe that's a genre thing and I just don't know it because I don't read the genre enough. I wouldn't not recommend the book. I just wouldn't say it's like my favorite thing that I've read. It wasn't bad, and certainly there was a lot of really great commentary about how white supremacy and racism and classism play into housing. So the commentary was really great, and there was a lot of history. Brooklyn, right? This is where it takes place. It takes place in Brooklyn. Am I making that up? Yeah, Brooklyn. So there's a lot of history about Brooklyn, and that was really great. The storyline itself just seemed a little disjointed to me, but the writing wasn't bad. Yeah, I don't know. You take from that review what you want, I guess. Um, I will, of course, be reading more Alyssa Cole because I really like her writing. This book just wasn't a hit for me. But you know what? That's okay because my favorite author, Jacqueline Carey, um, I've read pretty much all of her stuff, and there are two books that they're part of a duology, and I just don't like them. Like, they don't have reread value for me. I read them, and it's fine, but I won't read them again because they're just not a style I enjoy. So it's okay to not like something that an author wrote. Like, you don't have to write the author off about that. The other thing that I am reading is Black Leopard, Red Wolf by James Marlin. I'm still reading it. I am behind where I'm supposed to be. Today is the 2nd of October. Book discussion is on the 4th, and I think I have 150 pages left in the book. It's I'm not doing a great job at reading. So my experience with the book is that like 20 pages will just fly. Like, I'll get really into it, and then something changes in the pacing or whatever, and then like the next 30 pages feel like a slog to me. But I'm going to push through. If I can read, I'm going to try for about 60 pages today and 60 pages tomorrow. Then I only have about 30 pages to go before the meeting on Sunday. Yep, that day. I do work today and tomorrow, so I have to, do my reading around then, but I think I should be able to finish. And if I just have a few pages left to go when the meeting starts, it'll be okay. Yeah. This book is a little bit of a struggle for me to read. It's not bad, it's just, I probably, honestly, if I wasn't in book club, I probably would have DNF'd it. But I don't feel like my time is wasted by reading it. It's just not a book that I would have immediately gravitated toward. I think that is all that I have for you this week. I hope that you are doing okay this week. I was gonna say well, but I think we can all just agree that settling for okay right now is fine. Because there's a lot going on. October podcasts are probably going to be pretty short. If you want more content, head over to the vlogs because that'll be lots of me chatting. And I will see you hopefully next week. Bye.